Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back if you are here returning, and welcome if you are new. It is late. How late? That'll be 22:52 late. So I'm going to apologise in advance for whatever comes out of my mouth. I'm also going to apologise for the mood lighting of this video. Basically, I'm come in what can only be described as a box. I booked this not last minute, but I could have been better, and this was one of the cheaper options. I am in a Z Hotel in Soho. It's literally round the corner from the Palace Theatre, and also pretty damn close to the Prince Edward, where Beetlejuice is soon to be going, or by the time this goes live will be in residence. I got very excited. I saw the screens earlier and I was like, oh yeah, it's nearly time for tickets. Shock horror. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. Today we are here to do the first of two videos on a show. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll explain in a minute, but welcome to the nervous guide of Into the Woods at the Bridge Theatre. So if you want to know what you need to know about the show before you go in, stick around, we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yes, welcome to my first of 2 videos on this show. Like I said, if you've never been here before, or if you just want the repeat of the spiel, let's get through it. For every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos, time and willing permitted. The first of those videos is this one, the Nervous Guide. The Nervous Guide is everything you need to know about the show before you go in, whether that be sensory and content warnings, information about the theatre itself, a view of my seat. Yeah, that made sense. So you can know what to expect in relation to that. I'm missing things here, but it is late. Basically everything you need to know about a show before you go in, this is that video. Merchandise is already also included, should I say. And then the second video is the review. Review is always put in inverted commas because at the end of the day I'm no way professional. I just love seeing theatre, and sometimes I see it alone, like this weekend. And when I go alone, I have no one to talk to about my thoughts and feelings on the show after the event. So it's kind of like, this is my soundboard. This is me having a cup of tea with a friend and just spilling the tea on the show. The things I like, the things I may not have enjoyed as much, information and my love for the cast, etc. But without further ado, let's get into this Nervous Guide. So let's talk about it. Into the Woods at the Bridge Theatre, which is soon to be moving on. It has not got long left at the bridge. I really should have looked this up before, but I am not that girl. I'm not that girl. Sorry, I went too low. Please don't call us. It ends its run at the bridge on the 30th of May. After that, I believe it has a short intermission, a short break, and then it is moving into London, I want to say in September. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, I hold my hands up and say sorry. But you know me, I love the theatre and I love the bridge. I made it kind of my second home when Guys and Dolls was there. Sidebar, but my friend recently was like, hey, have you got any videos of Guys and Dolls, like the bowels, because I want to make a video on Instagram, like bring it back kind of thing. And I was like, I probably have 1 or 2. I had so many. I was like, oh my gosh, how many times did I see that show? But it was epic. I'm also going on a musical play, musical pattern. So the next thing I see at the bridge has to be a play. It's just the rules. So I was very much had this on the you need to see it list, but I was like, do I wait for it to go into central London or do I go to the bridge? Then my friend group basically was like, go to the bridge. I tried for Rush for it, didn't win. I didn't win Rush for anything today. And then I was like, right, these are my options, these are my price points, let me know what you think I should do. And I ended up at the bridge. So as we talked seats, let's do that one first. I was sat in gallery 1, which as you look at the stage is on the right hand side. I was the last seat in gallery 1. It was A6. It is listed as a restricted view seat, and I was umming and ahhing about picking it, and seat plan wasn't really my friend, but I just like, you know what, let's do it. This is my view for my seat, so as you can see it is kind of restricted in that you lose the bottom right corner of the stage as you're looking at it, which it's not like the worst problem because there's not a lot that goes in that corner, and when it does it tends to move over eventually. There was a couple of events that happened in that kind of area that I missed, which was a little bit annoying, but like I said, it was a restricted view seat. The other thing to mention, and the thing that I think if I was going to suggest going to see this show, I'd definitely go central, like bang staring at the stage in your seating choices, because I feel like I missed quite a bit, especially in Act 2, when, I was going to say spoiler alert, but this show is quite well known one and not the most new. The forest gets kind of stripped away, or the wood gets stripped away a lot in Act 2, so there is a lot more to the back that I feel I missed. So the seat that I had wasn't terrible. The legroom was okay, the hip room was fine, my view was a bit distorted is the way I'm going to leave it. But like I said, if I had my time again, as the Groundhog Day song goes, I would definitely have gone central based, even if I was like at the top of the top gallery on that one side. But I wasn't to know, and I've never seen anything at that theatre that didn't have 4 sides to it. So what are you gonna do? That seat, that was a long thing for seat. Merchandise, let's get that out of the way, because I basically got to the programme and the pin badge. I got to the front of the I got to the front of the merch queue and I was like, oh, just the programme please, and then the side of my eye caught the whole merch list, and I saw at the bottom the word pin badge. I was like, ooh, and a pin badge. I think I scared the man slightly by doing that like that. Together I think I paid £13. I think this was 8, so maths isn't my strong point, especially at this time of night. £5 for the programme. Yeah. I don't know what else was coming out of my brain for that one. So that is seat and merch done. Going into running time. Running time for this is 2 hours 40 minutes including an interval. The age restriction it has on Today Ticks is 12 plus. It says under 5s will not be admitted. Children under the age of 15, children aged 15 and under must be accompanied by and sat next to an adult over 18. fair. It wasn't long. Act 1 is full on. There's a lot to get through in Act 1, but at no time was I particularly looking at my watch. My watch during the day does try and tell me I need to move like 10 minutes before the o'clock, so I knew that time had passed, but at the same time I wasn't looking at my watch, so just to be aware. Now on to content and sensory. La 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 la. Now I do have to shout out for sensory the glorious, wonderful human being by the name of Jack. Jack is on Twitter as Jack Samuel Theatre. Jack is a autistic TikTok, a autistic neurodiverse amazing human being, and he recently saw the show and did give me prior warning to some of the sensory natures of the show, which we'll get into in a minute. But going back to Today Ticks warnings say contains themes of grief, hate and death, depictions of violence, blood, haze, strobe and loud noises. I can confirm loud noises, yes. I jumped out my skin at one point. I don't know why I didn't expect what was going to happen, but my goodness, I was not prepared. I nearly swore. Half of the band were to my right. It was embarrassing. Also in the atrium area of the bridge, they also had their own little warning signs. On theirs it says about the running time of the show. It also says, please note this performance contains themes of grief, themes of death, graphic violence. There are also instances of haze, strobe lighting, moments of complete darkness. Please speak to a member of staff if you have any questions or concerns. I did not, but it is always good to know. Now into my list. So on the whole, Act 1 is a little bit more chill, but there is still moments where you are kind of like, okay, I wasn't ready for that. Act 2 is where all the loud noises predominantly are. Act 1, the things that I want to mention, number 1 is the scene of grandmother's house after Little Red Riding Hood has gone into the house and has been then the bakers, I was gonna say the baker's man, and then the baker goes in afterwards and essentially the wolf. I feel like that's not really spoiling a lot, because at the end of the day they're all based on like nursery rhymes, Grimm's tales, etc. So there is no visible death on the stage. It is all behind a closed door. It is alluded to, and then the grandma and Little Red Riding Hood come out kind of covered in red. It's alluded that they're come out of the wolf, and yeah, that's something to be aware of. The moment that I jumped, or one of the moments I jumped, was towards the end of the act, after Jack cuts down his beanstalk. There is a loud noise, a thud, kind of, I'm assuming it's coming from the back of the auditorium, but it kind of, because of the nature of the bridge, kind of surrounds everywhere. It's to indicate that the giant has landed down on the ground, but it is a loud noise. It made me jump a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to you. Act 2, the end of the first song has another moment of quite a loud bang, which then goes into a blackout, which is always fun. Any time that the giant is on stage, because, or at least from my point of view, there is never an actual giant, but I don't know if there is, because like I said, where I was sat made it that I couldn't see anything, but it does get accompanied by quite a lot of white flashing lights, which is again something to be aware of, and the voice of the giant is quite loud. Majority of the loudness of Act 2 comes in the shape of the giant. Yeah, there's nothing is overly loud, but there are moments of loudness. Good use of English. Like I said, apart from the 2 times I jumped outside my skin, I was alright. And like I also said, having the wonderful Jack, having seen it recently and writing his own sensory comments and such, was a great help, because I kind of knew what I was expecting. However, I didn't really read it until the interval, so I missed some of it. I wasn't prepared for some of it, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, that is sensory and content. I've done merch, I've done sensory and content, I've done view from my seat. Is there anything else? I feel like there is, but I can't think off the top of my head what it would be. So if I have missed anything that I normally do, please feel free to ask questions in the comments, because the whole reason I make these videos is in the hope that it helps at least one person. We shall see. I do love the bridge though. It is, I would say, a slight trek. It's not really in the grand scheme of things, but there is a little bit of moving to do. However, the theatre itself is always stunning. The front of house staff, always a joy, and yeah, I can't say anything wrong, can't say anything bad at all. So I'm going to shut up. I have been sitting on my floor for far too long. My foot's gone slightly dead, and checkout's at 11 in the morning and it's 11 now, so I need to wrap this up so I can get into bed. But enough of that, enough of my life. Let's finish this video. Like I have said at the beginning, the next video on this channel will be the review, in unquoted quote marks, for the show. So if you want to know my thoughts and feelings, come back for that one. Other than that, bidding you farewell, finishing off with what I always say, which is so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye.